Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing Thailand and the EU, and specifically discussing immigration things that have been sort of percolating in the background while this COVID-19 situation has progressed. In a recent article from the Bangkok Post, that's bangkokpost.com, article is titled, EU Expected to Bar U.S. Travelers. For our purposes, this was the important part. Quoting directly, the European Union is expected to welcome travelers from Thailand. Quoting further, the list of 15 countries from which travel will be allowed because they have a low coronavirus risk is expected to is subject to approval later Saturday. It is expected that the EU will want travel agreements with any of the countries it approves to be reciprocal. Many details remain to be negotiated, so no one is expected to be booking flights anytime soon. Now, the next day, again, Bangkok Post, the following article came up, which is EU delays decision on border reopening. That was June 28th, 2020. Quoting directly, the EU cannot agree on a list of quote-unquote safe countries from where travelers could visit Europe in July, with some member states requiring more time to decide, diplomats said Saturday. After days of talks, EU envoys on Friday agreed to a list of 14 countries that to their national governments. They agreed to propose a list of 14 countries to their national governments. So 14 countries. And then finally, quoting further, the proposed quote-unquote safe list contains just 14 countries: Algeria, Australia, Canada, Georgia, Japan, Montenegro, Morocco, New Zealand, Rwanda, Serbia, South Korea, Thailand, Tunisia, and Uruguay. So two things that I thought were notable in those two articles together. First of all, Thailand is on the list. Secondly, that they would be looking at some sort of reciprocal arrangement. So the thing to note is there's been a lot of talk here in Thailand about this proposed travel bubble initiative. And as we've noted on this channel rather frequently now, this appears to be kind of a dual track system that they're looking to kind of set up, at least for the relatively near-term foreseeable future. And in this near term, we're going to see, again, this dual track. There will be those sort of in the travel bubble line and those who are sort of on the standard immigration protocols line. And the thing to understand about the difference between these two initiatives, if you will, or these two tracks, I guess, for lack of a better term. Travel bubbles, presumably, will not need to see people go through expedited quarantine. Now, the EU didn't necessarily use that phraseology, and they didn't necessarily say there would be no quarantine involved. But I think it's interesting to note that they're specifically looking for countries who have gotten this thing under control or who are deemed to have gotten this thing under control. And they are also looking at this on a reciprocal basis. That looks to me a great deal like what has been being talked about with respect to a so-called travel bubble. That's sort of what it looks to me to be the definition of a travel bubble. This reciprocal arrangement between two jurisdictions that have, again, been deemed by each other to have gotten COVID-19, quote-unquote, under control. So as of now, they have not made a decision on this. And I think much like with Thailand, where we're probably not going to see any forward motion on this for probably at least a couple more weeks to come, I think it's safe to presume that, yes, eventually we're going to see some kind of bilateral arrangement reached between Thailand and the countries of the European Union, and hopefully we'll be seeing back and forth travel between these two jurisdictions in the relatively near future.